For the past 6 years, I have been tracking grocery discontinuations across every major chain in the country. While everyone is panicking about what is flying off the shelves, I am quietly documenting what is disappearing from inventory systems before it even hits the news. Number 14 on this list is sitting at your Kroger right now for under $4, and most shoppers walk right past it because they have no idea it is about to vanish. Watch, the problem is that when everyone reads the same grocery blogs and follows the same coupon accounts, that is exactly what creates the panic buying. Back in March 2020, I watched toilet paper get cleared in 2 hours. But the items I'm about to show you, most of them lasted weeks because nobody knew to look for them. And here's the thing. Kroger just sent out their March discontinuation list to managers. 21 items. Some of them are niche. Some of them are shockingly popular. And if you wait until you see the empty shelf tags, you are already too late. So make sure you are subscribed because I do not waste your time with clickbait. I give you the exact items, the exact prices, and the exact reason they matter. Let me start with the first one, and this is going to surprise you. Number 1 is Kroger brand canned pumpkin puree. Not the pie filling, the pure pumpkin. Before you think this is just a seasonal thing, hear me out. Pure pumpkin is one of the most versatile shelf-stable foods you can own. It has fiber, vitamin A, and potassium. You can use it in soups, breads, pancakes, oatmeal, even as a thickener for stews. Last fall, I bought 12 cans when they were on sale for 87 cents each. I used the last one 2 weeks ago in a batch of chili. You could not even taste it, but it added body and nutrients my kids had no idea they were eating. Here is what nobody talks about. Pumpkin puree stores for years, past the printed date if you keep it in a cool, dry place. I have open cans from 2021. Still perfect. The reason Kroger is discontinuing it is because Libby dominates the market and Kroger does not want to compete on shelf space anymore. That means the remaining stock is going to get clearanced out, probably down to 50 or 60 cents a can. Go grab every single one you can find. And while other people are spending $3 on a tiny packet of freeze-dried vegetables, you are getting a pound of nutrient-dense food for pocket change. And when the next supply chain hiccup happens, this will be one of those items that just vanishes and never comes back. Look, grocery prices are rising faster than most families can keep up with. I have done the math for you and put together a free emergency pantry guide that lists the exact 12 items you must keep, all of which you can buy from any major store. It can feed your family for 2 weeks and costs less than a single pizza delivery order. You can grab it for free at the link in the description so you can stop guessing and start actually preparing. Number 2 is going to sound boring, but it is absolute gold. Kroger brand jarred beef gravy. Not the packet mix. The jarred kind. This is one of those items that sounds like something your grandma used, and that is exactly why it matters. A jarred gravy is pure concentrated flavor and fat in a shelf-stable form. You can pour it over rice, pasta, potatoes, or canned vegetables and turn them from bland survival food into something your family will actually eat. Here's the real genius. One jar costs $1.49 and contains enough to cover 4 meals. Compare that to bouillon cubes or those gravy packets that taste like salty dust. Last winter, during a power outage that lasted 5 days, I used jarred gravy to make 3 different dinners that my kids did not complain about. That alone made it worth keeping. The issue is that Kroger is cutting their entire jarred gravy line because sales have been declining. Younger shoppers do not even know this product exists, which means it is sitting on shelves right now completely ignored. Go to the aisle where the stuffing mix and canned cranberry sauce are. You will find it. Grab at least 6 jars. They last for years. And when you are trying to make a meal out of pantry scraps, this is the difference between your family eating happily and everyone staring at their plate in misery. Number 3 is Kroger packaged polenta in the tube. This one flies under the radar because most people do not even know what polenta is. It is cooked cornmeal that comes in a sealed tube, shelf-stable, ready to slice and fry or bake. One tube costs $2 and gives you 8 servings of dense carbohydrates. You can fry slices in a pan with butter, bake it with cheese on top, or crumble it into soups as a thickener. I keep 4 tubes in my pantry at all times. Last spring, I sliced one up, fried the rounds until they were crispy, and served them with marinara sauce. My kids thought it was some kind of fancy restaurant food. It cost me about 60 cents for the whole side dish. Here is the insight nobody talks about. Polenta is naturally gluten-free, which makes it perfect if you have anyone in your house with dietary restrictions. It is also one of the only shelf-stable carbs that does not taste like cardboard when you are sick of rice and pasta. Kroger is discontinuing it because it is a regional seller. It does well in certain markets and dies in others, so they are consolidating. If your store still has it, buy everything they have left. Store it in a cool, dark cabinet, and it will last at least a year past the date on the package. While preppers are dropping $40 on buckets of freeze-dried mashed potatoes, you are getting real food that actually tastes good for a fraction of the price. Number 4 is one that is going to make you stop and think. Kroger store brand canned mackerel, not tuna, mackerel. Before you wrinkle your nose, let me explain why this is one of the smartest things you can stock. Mackerel is oily fish, which means it is loaded with omega-3 fatty acids, protein, and calories. One can has around 450 calories. Compare that to a can of tuna, which has maybe 120. You are getting almost 4 times the energy in the same size can. I opened a can last month and mixed it with mayo, mustard, and diced pickles. Ate it on crackers. It tasted like a smokier, richer version of tuna salad. The reason this matters in a shortage scenario is that your body needs fat. Not wants. Needs. Fat keeps you full, helps you absorb vitamins, and keeps your brain working. Canned mackerel delivers that in a shelf-stable form for under $2 a can. Kroger is cutting it because most American shoppers ignore anything that is not tuna or salmon. They do not market it. They do not promote it. So it just sits there, which is exactly why you need to grab it now. Go to the canned fish aisle. Look on the bottom shelf. You will probably find it dusty and forgotten. Buy at least 10 cans. They last for years. And when everyone else is fighting over the last can of chunk light tuna, you will have something better, cheaper, and more calorie-dense sitting in your pantry. Number 5 is Kroger sliced pepperoni in the deli section. Not the shelf-stable kind in the snack aisle, the refrigerated deli packs. Here is why this matters. Pepperoni is cured meat, which means it has a longer fridge life than most people realize. An unopened pack lasts about 3 weeks in the fridge. Once you open it, you can freeze the rest and it stays good for months. I buy 2 packs every few weeks and keep one in the freezer at all times. You can toss it on homemade pizza, mix it into scrambled eggs, roll it up with cheese for a quick snack, or chop it up and add it to pasta for extra protein and flavor. A single pack costs $3.49 and gives you enough for multiple meals. Last summer during a camping trip, I brought frozen pepperoni in a cooler. By day 3, it had thawed but stayed perfectly safe to eat because it is cured. We made pepperoni and cheese wraps for lunch. Super easy. The problem is that Kroger is discontinuing their store brand deli pepperoni line and shifting to only name brand options, which cost almost double. Once the Kroger brand is gone, you are stuck paying $6 or $7 for the same amount of meat. If your store still has it, stock up now. Buy several packs and freeze them. You will thank yourself later when you are looking for a quick protein source that does not require cooking. Number 6 is going to sound weird, but stay with me. Kroger brand dried lentils in the 1-pound bags. Not the fancy green or black ones, the plain red or brown lentils. Here's the thing, lentils cook in 15 minutes with no soaking. You cannot say that about dried beans. You dump them in boiling water, add salt, and they are done. 1 pound costs $1.29 and makes about 10 servings. Compare that to canned beans, which cost $1 per can and give you maybe 3 servings. You are getting 3 times the value with dried lentils. I made lentil soup last winter during a snowstorm. 1 pound of lentils, a can of diced tomatoes, an onion, and some garlic. Fed my family of 4 for 2 nights. Total cost was under $5. Here's the insight most people miss. Lentils have more protein per serving than most beans. They store for years in a sealed container. And they're so boring looking that nobody fights over them during a shortage. Back in 2020, I watched rice and beans disappear in days. Lentils? Fully stocked for weeks. Kroger is discontinuing the 1-pound bags and switching to bulk bins only, which not every location has. If your store still sells the bagged kind, buy at least 5 bags. Keep them in airtight containers and they will outlast you. And when you need to make a filling meal out of almost nothing, lentils are the answer. Number 7 is one that nobody thinks about. Kroger canned diced green chilies, the 4-ounce cans. These are not spicy, they are mild, but they add flavor to anything. You can toss them into scrambled eggs, mix them into rice, stir them into soups, or add them to ground meat for tacos. One little can costs 67 cents. Last month, I made a pot of white chicken chili and dumped in 2 cans of these. The flavor went from bland to restaurant quality. Here is what makes this a sleeper item. Green chilies are one of the only canned vegetables that actually improve the taste of food instead of just adding filler. Most canned veggies taste like the can. Green chilies taste like freshness. They have a bright, slightly tangy flavor that wakes up boring pantry meals. Kroger is cutting them because they do not move fast enough in most regions. They sell well in the Southwest but die everywhere else. If you live outside that area, check your store now. You might find them clearanced out already. Buy every single can. Store them with your other canned goods and use them to make your emergency food actually edible. Because food monotony is real. Boring food makes you stupid when you need to be sharp. Number 8 is Kroger store brand canned corned beef hash. Not the Hormel kind, the Kroger brand. This is one of those items that people either love or have never tried. If you have never tried it, here is what you need to know. Corned beef hash is cooked potatoes, corned beef, and seasoning all mixed together in a can. You dump it in a hot pan, let it crisp up, and serve it with eggs. One can cost $2.49 and gives you enough for 2 full breakfasts. I keep 3 cans in my pantry at all times. So last spring, I made hash for breakfast on a Sunday morning. My kids demolished it. They thought it was something fancy I had spent an hour cooking. It took me 6 minutes. Here is the magic. Canned hash is fully cooked, shelf-stable, and calorie-dense. One serving has around 400 calories. That means it keeps you full for hours. Compare that to a bowl of cereal, which leaves you hungry in 90 minutes. Kroger is discontinuing their store brand version because Hormel dominates the category and Kroger does not want to keep competing. Once the store brand is gone, the only option left costs almost $4 a can. If your Kroger still stocks the store brand, grab it now. It will last for years in your pantry, and when you need a hot, filling breakfast that requires 0 effort, this is the answer. Number 9 is Kroger jarred roasted red peppers. These come in a 12-ounce jar for $2.99. Roasted red peppers are packed in water or oil, fully cooked, and ready to eat. You can dice them up and toss them into pasta, blend them into hummus, chop them for sandwiches, or puree them into soup. I used a jar last week to make a red pepper pasta sauce. 1 jar, some garlic, olive oil, and a blender. It tasted like something from an Italian restaurant. Cost me about $4 total to make enough sauce for 2 dinners. Here's the key insight. Roasted red peppers add sweetness and depth to food without adding heat. That makes them perfect for families with kids who do not like spicy food. They also last for months in the fridge once opened, which means you do not have to use the whole jar at once. Kroger is cutting their store brand jarred peppers because they are shifting more shelf space to fresh produce. Once they are gone, your only option is name brand jars that cost almost $6. If you see the Kroger brand still in stock, buy at least 4 jars. Keep them in your pantry and use them to transform boring meals into something your family actually wants to eat. Number 10 is going to shock you. Kroger frozen hash brown patties. Not the shredded kind. The formed patties. These are getting discontinued because Kroger is consolidating their frozen potato line. A bag of 12 patties costs $2.99. Each patty has about 150 calories. You can fry them. Bake them or air fry them. They last for months in the freezer, and they are one of the easiest ways to add filling carbs to any meal. I keep 2 bags in my freezer at all times. Last month, during a busy week, I made hash brown patties for breakfast 3 different mornings. My kids ate them with ketchup and eggs. Total breakfast prep time was under 10 minutes. Here is what makes these valuable. Potatoes are cheap, filling, and versatile, but fresh potatoes go bad. Frozen hash browns do not. They stay good in your freezer for at least 6 months, and they give you a quick side dish whenever you need one. Once Kroger discontinues their store brand, the only option left is name brand patties that cost almost double. Stock your freezer now while you still can. And when you need a fast, filling meal that does not require any skill, these will save you. Number 11 is Kroger canned kidney beans in the no salt added version. Not the regular kind, the no salt added kind. Now, here is why this matters. Most canned beans are loaded with sodium. A single serving can have over 400 milligrams. The no salt added version has less than 20. That means you control the seasoning. You add your own salt, your own spices, and the beans actually taste like food instead of like brine. A can costs 89 cents. Last winter I made chili using no salt added kidney beans. I added my own cumin, chili powder, garlic, and salt. But the flavor was 1,000 times better than when I used regular canned beans. Here is the insight. When you are eating from your pantry for days or weeks, controlling sodium becomes critical. Too much salt makes you bloated, thirsty, and miserable. No salt added beans let you season your food the way you want it. Kroger is discontinuing the no salt added line because most shoppers do not even know it exists. They grab the regular cans and move on. But if your store still stocks the no salt added kind, buy at least 10 cans. Store them with your other pantry staples and use them to make meals that actually taste good instead of meals that taste like a salt lick. Number 12 is Kroger store brand jarred marinara sauce, not the fancy kind with the Italian names. The plain store brand in the 24-ounce jar. This is getting cut because Kroger is reducing their sauce variety and focusing on only their premium line. And a jar of store brand marinara costs $1.69. Compare that to the premium line, which costs $3.49 for the same size. You are paying double for a label. I ran a blind taste test with my family last year. Store brand versus name brand. Nobody could tell the difference. You can use jarred marinara on pasta as a pizza sauce mixed into ground meat for sloppy joes, or as a dipping sauce for breadsticks. One jar makes enough sauce for 2 meals. I keep 6 jars in my pantry at all times. Here is the genius. Marinara sauce is one of the easiest ways to make bland carbs taste like a real meal. Plain pasta is boring. Pasta with marinara is dinner. Plain rice is sad. Rice with marinara and some cheese on top is actually edible. Once the store brand is gone, you are stuck paying twice as much for the same thing. Go stock up now while it is still available. Number 13 is one that most people have never even seen. Kroger canned white beans. Not navy beans, not Great Northern, just labeled white beans. These come in a 15-ounce can for 97 cents. White beans are creamy, mild, and incredibly versatile. You can mash them into a dip, toss them into soups, mix them with pasta, or puree them into a sauce. I made white bean hummus last spring, 1 can of white beans, garlic, lemon juice, and olive oil in a blender. It tasted better than store-bought hummus and cost me about $2 to make a huge batch. Here's what nobody talks about. White beans are one of the best plant-based protein sources you can store. 1 can has around 20 grams of protein. That is almost as much as a chicken breast. And they last for years in your pantry. Kroger is discontinuing them because they are consolidating their bean selection. Most stores will only carry 2 or 3 varieties going forward. If your store still has white beans, grab them. They are cheap, nutritious, and totally ignored by most shoppers, which means they will still be in stock long after everything else is gone. Number 14 is the one I mentioned at the start. Kroger store brand canned coconut milk. Not the refrigerated kind in the dairy section, the canned kind in the international aisle. A can costs $2.29. Coconut milk is thick, creamy, and loaded with fat and calories. You can use it in curries, to soups, smoothies, oatmeal, or even coffee. 1 can has around 600 calories. Compare that to a can of evaporated milk, which has around 300. You are getting twice the energy in the same size can. I made coconut curry last month. 1 can of coconut milk, a jar of curry paste, some frozen vegetables, and rice. Fed my family for 2 nights. Total cost was under $8. Here is the real reason this matters. Coconut milk does not need refrigeration until you open it. That makes it perfect for long-term storage. It also adds richness and flavor to food in a way that water or broth just cannot. Kroger is discontinuing their store brand and keeping only the name brand options, which cost almost $4 a can. If you see the Kroger brand still in stock, buy at least 6 cans. Store them in a cool cabinet and they will last for years. And when you need to make a filling, calorie-dense meal, coconut milk is the secret weapon. Number 15 is Kroger brand canned black-eyed peas. These come in a 15-ounce can for $1.09. Black-eyed peas are mild, creamy, and cooked down into a thick, hearty texture. You can eat them plain with a little butter and salt, toss them into soups, mix them with rice, or mash them into a dip. I made Hoppin' John last New Year's Day. Black-eyed peas, rice, onions, and a little bit of bacon grease. It was gone in 20 minutes. My family went back for seconds. Here's the thing. Black-eyed peas are one of the most underrated canned foods you can buy. They are cheap, they last forever, and they have a flavor that actually works in multiple dishes. Most people ignore them because they associate them with only one holiday. That is a mistake. Kroger is cutting them from their regular stock and only bringing them in seasonally. Once they are gone from the shelves, you will not see them again until next January. If your store has them now, stock up. They'll buy at least 8 cans. They store just like any other canned good, and they give you a protein-rich meal option that nobody else is thinking about. Number 16 is Kroger frozen vegetable blends with pasta. These come in a 16-ounce bag for $3.49. They are mixed vegetables, pasta, and sometimes a sauce packet all in one bag. You dump it in boiling water or microwave it, and you have a full meal in 6 minutes. I keep 2 bags in my freezer for nights when I'm too tired to actually cook. Last Tuesday, I made one of these for lunch. It was fine. Not amazing, but fine. And on a day when I had zero energy, fine was exactly what I needed. Here is why these matter. When you are dealing with a stressful situation, decision fatigue is real. The fewer decisions you have to make, the better. These frozen meals eliminate decisions. You do not have to think about what goes together or how long to cook it. You just heat and eat. Kroger is discontinuing their store brand line and keeping only the name brand options, which cost almost $6 a bag. If your freezer has space, grab a few bags now. They are not glamorous, but they work. Number 17 is going to surprise you. Kroger canned Vienna sausages. These are the little sausages in the 5-ounce cans. They cost $1.19 per can. Vienna sausages are fully cooked, shelf-stable, and ready to eat straight from the can. You can eat them cold, fry them up in a pan, chop them into fried rice, or add them to scrambled eggs. One can has around 260 calories and 10 grams of protein. I ate these growing up, and I keep a few cans in my pantry for nostalgia and practicality. Last summer during a power outage, I opened a can and ate them with crackers. It was not fancy, but it was food that required zero prep and zero cleanup. Here's the key. Here is the Vienna sausages are one of the only shelf-stable meats that do not taste dry. They are packed in a gelatin broth that keeps them moist. Most people think they're gross because they have never actually tried them as adults. Kids love them. And in a scenario where you need quick protein that does not require cooking or refrigeration, they are perfect. Kroger is cutting their store brand version because sales are declining. Once they are gone, your only option is the name brand at almost double the price. Grab them now. Number 18 is Kroger store brand canned fruit cocktail in water. Not in syrup, in water. A 15-ounce can costs $1.39. Canned fruit in water has about half the sugar of the syrup version, which makes it way more versatile. You can eat it straight, add it to oatmeal, blend it into smoothies, or even drain it and toss it into a salad. I opened a can last month and mixed it into plain yogurt for breakfast. It tasted fresh. Here is the magic. Fruit in water does not have that cloying, artificial sweetness that fruit in syrup has. It actually tastes like fruit. And because it is canned, it lasts for years in your pantry. Kroger is discontinuing the store brand version and only keeping the name brand options, which cost over $2 a can. If your store still stocks the Kroger brand, buy at least 6 cans. Fruit is one of the first things people crave when they are eating from the pantry for a long time. Having it available makes a huge difference in morale. Number 19 is Kroger jarred sliced mushrooms. These come in a 4.5-ounce jar for $1.49. Jarred mushrooms are fully cooked and packed in water. You can drain them and toss them into pasta, omelets, soups, or on pizza. 1 jar is enough for 2 meals. I used a jar last week to make a mushroom cream sauce. 1 jar of mushrooms, some butter, flour, and milk. Poured it over chicken and rice. It was done in 15 minutes and tasted like something I had spent an hour making. Here's the insight. Jarred mushrooms are one of the only canned vegetables that add umami, which is that deep savory flavor that makes food taste rich. Most canned veggies just add bulk. Mushrooms add flavor. Kroger is cutting their store brand jarred mushrooms and keeping only the name brand, which costs almost $3 a jar. If you see the store brand, grab it. Mushrooms are expensive fresh, they go bad fast, and jarred mushrooms solve both problems. Stock your pantry and use them to upgrade boring meals. Number 20 is Kroger store brand canned evaporated milk. Not condensed milk. Evaporated milk. A 12-ounce can costs $1.69. Evaporated milk is just milk with 60% of the water removed. You can use it in place of cream in soups, add it to coffee, mix it into mashed potatoes, or use it in baking. One can is the equivalent of about a cup and a half of regular milk. I keep 4 cans in my pantry at all times. Last fall, I ran out of milk and used evaporated milk in my coffee. It was richer and creamier than regular milk. I actually liked it better. Here's the key. Evaporated milk is shelf-stable for over a year. That makes it perfect for long-term storage. And it adds richness to food without needing refrigeration. Kroger is discontinuing their store brand and keeping only the name brand, which costs almost $3 a can. Buy the store brand now while you still can. It stores forever, it is versatile, and it gives you a dairy option when fresh milk is not available. Number 21 is the last one, and it is a big one. Kroger store brand canned chili with beans. Not the fancy kind. The basic store brand in the 15-ounce can. A can costs $1.69. This is fully cooked chili, ready to heat and eat. You can eat it straight, pour it over rice, use it as a topping for baked potatoes, or mix it into mac and cheese. One can has around 400 calories and 15 grams of protein. I keep 6 cans in my pantry for nights when I just do not want to cook. Last month I opened a can, heated it up, and ate it with crackers. It took 4 minutes and it was filling. Here's the truth. Canned chili is not gourmet, but it works. It is cheap, and it is fast, and it keeps you full. Kroger is discontinuing their store brand and shifting to only name brand options, which cost almost $3 a can. That is nearly double. If your store still has the Kroger brand, buy as many cans as you can fit in your pantry. When you need a fast, filling meal that does not require any effort, canned chili is the answer. While everyone else is fighting over the same products that get featured in every mainstream blog, you now know 21 items that are disappearing from Kroger shelves and exactly why they matter. These are not the trendy items that everyone panics over. These are the boring, overlooked, dirt-cheap staples that will still be available when everything else is gone. Drop a comment telling me which of these you are going to stock up on first. I want to know what you are grabbing. And in next week, I am revealing the 7 foods every prepper buys that are actually a complete waste of money in a real emergency. Trust me, you do not want to miss that one.